If you're just joining us, welcome to NBL. My name's Neil, of course. Zach Mann over there on the other side of the glass. Tom Kerber of Kerber USA is with us, and we're talking about light therapy. It's taking certain wavelengths on the electromagnetic spectrum.
Good, you got that.
Yeah, I'm an expert now, and using those very similar to a woman singing a particular note, and you watch the champagne glass break, using just the right wavelength of light to be able to reduce pain and swelling and promote healing in the human body. Okay, so I believe it was the spring of 2001. I'm sorry, it was Christmas Eve 2020, Zach, is that right? When you gave me COVID. Okay.
Nice son.
Yeah, he comes over on Christmas Eve. He says, I don't feel well.
And gives you COVID.
Yeah, by the day after Christmas, by the 26th, I wasn't feeling well. And I didn't for like 5-6 weeks. I mean, it was bad. So I got hit with COVID. You had COVID at the same time.
Correct.
And somehow you found out I had COVID, but you had the advantage of using light therapy to help you. So you had a unit sent to me. And now, please understand, I could breathe. I could take a deep breath, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. So you put that little thing on your finger, the pulse ox thing, and it was reading like 79 to 82.
Yep.
Oxygen saturation in my blood. It's supposed to be like 98, 99, 100. It was 79 to 82-ish. And Mary actually called the ambulance a couple times because I was struggling. And I never went to the hospital. They begged me not to go to the hospital. Please don't go to the hospital. You'll sit in the hallway. Nobody's going to help you. If you can manage it at home, if you can stay here, hang on, brother. And so they got me some oxygen tanks, some breathing all this, oxygen. And when I finally got the unit you sent me, I started using it, and I used it on the setting that penetrates the human body. There's one setting that's more like for your skin.
More superficial. It's still very good, but that's 660 nanometer, yeah.
And the other one, which is not as bright, but it penetrates the skin.
Correct.
It goes deep into the body and does something to the cells, because then the cells begin to kind of come to life again and work better. And in a matter of a day and a half, I began to see the numbers going up. And in a matter of 2 weeks, I was at 100.
Yeah. And see, I was
unbelievable.
I was the precursor to that because I had measured my blood oxygen. It was 80%. I was in such bad shape with my brain as well. I wasn't thinking clearly, and my son took me into the hospital, and he knew something was really crazy about Dad. Dad's normally crazy, but in this case, I'm over the top. And he took me in, and they said, and I had a really bad. I had my blood oxygen going in, but it was 80. And then they did x-rays on my lungs, and they said, you have a really bad double lung pneumonia. And I'm really glad they decided to kick me out of the hospital because I was able to immediately go home. They said, here, hope you get better. Here's a script for some antibiotics, which probably would have taken me out at that point. But anyways, I started using the light right away every day. And every time I did, my blood oxygen started increasing. And so after about 2 weeks, I had improved quite a bit. As a matter of fact, 2.5 weeks, I started coughing so bad. I thought I was going maybe downhill again. So I went and went to the hospital, emerged, asked for another set of x-rays on my lungs. And in the end, they said, no, nothing. Your blood is good, your heart is good, but your lungs are exceptional.
What happened to those lungs?
And they're comparing x-rays, and they can't believe it. And that's when I happened to hear you or hear your son mention something, and I thought, I've gotten better.
I was out of work for several weeks.
And I've gotten better. I got to call you. And so that's when I did.
I don't know if you remember, but you called me at one point when your brain was foggy, and we had a long conversation. I was finishing sentences for you. You really were struggling with that mental part of the whole thing.
Oh, I was.
And at one point, because I affectionately kind of consider you like the professor on Back to the Future. 1.21 gigawatts. That's who Tom is. He's an inventor. He's a researcher. And, this light therapy thing has been unbelievable. You've experienced tons of opposition because Big Pharma wants you to take medication to get better. In fact, to keep you just well enough that you stay on the medication but don't ever really get better. Yeah. That's what I believe. But anyhow, this light therapy thing has done wonders for people. In fact, if you go to WDCX Radio on Facebook, You can click on the link that we have there. It's right on our Facebook page, WDCX Radio on Facebook. And it'll take you to SunPowerLED.com. You can watch videos of people who've been treated with light therapy. You can see photographs, incredible photographs of the guy with the foot problem. They told him it would be months to heal or something.
6 to 9 months to heal. His tendon was cut right off, like severed, completely severed.
Okay. So then you started treating him with light therapy, and he's walking in the video in, what was that, 4 weeks or something?
4 weeks he was walking as you wouldn't know that he had a foot injury. And they said 6 to 9 months.
Professionals said 6 to 9 months. In 4 weeks, this guy's walking, and that's documented there. But you can find these things by going to SunPowerLED.com. SunPowerLED.com. There's also a place where you can click on something called, I think it's Help for Israel.
Yes.
We want to talk about that real quick in a second. But the bottom line, Tom, is that this is a very effective way to treat a variety of things. I'll let you go down the list of some of the things that people have been helped by. And I want everyone to know that Tom recently, I mean, just like this last week, had a Zoom conference with doctors in Israel.
Correct.
Who were saying, will you send us some of these units? Because there's people who've been burned, had surgeries, are faced with potential amputation as a result of the war with Hamas.
Yeah.
And we need these. Can you get us some of these units? And we posted right there a place where you can provide and help provide, give towards getting some of these units into Israel to help people. But what kinds of things? I mean, we talked about, our lungs, but healing after surgical wounds, people, you've treated people with seizures, with migraines. Talk about that.
Yeah, so let's say just with burns. So my granddaughter had helped in the kitchen at 3.5 years old, and her father, he was right there, and she's mixed Jell-O before, and only this time he just poured the boiling water in there, and instead of doing what she usually did, she decided to tilt the bowl towards herself. Well, the bowl, or move the bowl towards herself. Instead of that happening, it flipped, poured boiling water down her legs, down her one leg, and it was really nasty. Went to the hospital looking at second-degree burns, probably a couple spots of third, and she immediately started using the light, and when she did, there was no pain from that massive burn down her leg. Mm-hmm. And I've got pictures of every day, and day 8, the whole area was healed over, and the scabs had fallen off. So the whole area was totally healed. That way, it still had to add more layers of skin, but the surface was now. So when you're talking of injuries, whether it's in Israel, especially with the burns and wounds of different kinds, you want to try and get that surface, the skin, to heal, because it's your protection against infections and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. So the faster you can get healing to that area, and you can cut the healing time in half, or as I showed, we talked about it, much, much faster than that, and helping to push off the possibility of infections. And on top of that, when you can use light to increase the blood flow, microvascular blood flow through the area, you can end up saving that person from having their foot amputated. Yep. So, it's beautiful things that can happen. I was able to see that firsthand when I was in Haiti in 2010 when the very big earthquake took place. And it was funny, I prayed with a friend, and I said, somebody's got to go down there and take some of this light technology down there. And it's one of those prayers that actually backfired. Next thing you know, 3 days later,
You're in Haiti.
I'm in a plane full of doctors, and I'm flying to Haiti, and was able to use it firsthand right in the MASH tents. The hospital was all cracked and everything from the earthquake, but I was able to use it with the medical doctors in MASH tents outside the hospital. So in burns, if you have a sunburn and you go out in the sun again within the day or a day, you feel, oh no, that's burning. It's the difference is with the red near infrared without the blue and UV, the red calms the whole area. So now you don't have the pain. It reduces the pain right down and promotes the healing. So that's on burns. Then you talk about surgical wounds. trying to heal those areas where they have to do surgery, to reattach ligaments, to do all those kinds of things. So that's in that area. Lungs, we mentioned, the light in 810 nanometer, the invisible light can go into your lungs and help reduce the inflammation in the lungs. So we were looking at saving lives with that one. And you mentioned about pushback, on the pharmaceutical side. We were pretty excited when we had all approvals in place 6 months before or 8 months before you had the COVID. Mm-hmm. I had the COVID. We had gotten approved for 3 hospitals in Montreal to have use this light on the lungs as a study, a really neat, bigger study that would have shown that we could help people. And everything was in place. We had private money to pay for the study. Everything was in place. And unfortunately, just as about when we were ready to get started with the study, upper management in the hospital canceled the study. And then I learned that all over the place, studies for COVID for therapeutics were canceled. And people can easily check that out on clinicaltrials.gov and see the number of trials that were canceled back then.
Of all kinds.
All kinds of therapeutics.
Yeah, there was no government narrative going on during COVID. Tom, what are you talking about?
Not at all. Not at all.
Unbelievable. All right, well, listen, when we come back, I want you to talk about help for Israel. And then we're going to get into some of this and give people an opportunity. In fact, if you want to join us, I've got the phone lines open right now, 800-684-2848, 883-5000. Any kind of question you might have about light therapy. Maybe you've got a particular medical condition you want to ask about, something you've been struggling with. Does it help with this? Does it help with that? Could it help? What should I do? Ask away. Tom is here to answer your questions. And we want to also delve into this conversation you had with doctors in Israel. A Zoom call with the head of this department and that department and whatever, and you just got a text message today, which we'll read when we come back, saying we want these units. Let's get going. Let's get this thing started. Well, those of you who are listening today can help be a part of that by helping to provide for the needs of people in Israel, and all of this information is accessible by going to SunPowerLED.com, or just go to our Facebook page, WDCX Radio on Facebook, and all the links are posted right there on the front of the page. But you can directly access all the information we're talking about, including a page where you can donate to help get these units into Israel. You may not have a need, but you want to help supply for the needs of the Jewish people. Go to WDCX Radio on Facebook. All right, more with Tom Kerber coming up in just a moment. And if you want to join us, call us, 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. Excuse me. Can I have a unit right now?
Sure.
Okay. 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. We'll be back with Tom Kerber of Kerber USA.
Neil Boron Live. Music, talk, and more of what you love. Weekdays on WDCX.
All right, we're going to get to some of your phone calls in a moment, but this is kind of interesting. I'm literally giving myself a light therapy treatment as we speak. I've got, what is this unit called?
This is a Super Palm 1050. It's 1050 nanometer.
Okay. Super Palm 1050, and I stuffed it inside my sweatshirt, and it's right now giving me a light treatment.
Yeah.
You can probably, can folks hear this? Turn all the music off there. You hear that sound? That's the fan, right?
Yeah, I have to cool it properly.
Yeah, so
that we could have the energy that we have. Most units don't have fans.
So if you can hear that slight whir in the background,
that's Neil treating himself.
Yeah, I'm doing a light therapy treatment as we speak.
I see the red light coming out of your eye sockets. Yeah. No, he's on the invisible setting.
Okay, yeah, and you literally cannot see. There is an indicator light showing you that it's on, but you can't see the light that's going into
totally
my body right now.
The one you can't see it at all. It's 1050 nanometer.
Okay. All right. Before we get to these calls, you had a session on Zoom, I think, with doctors in Israel.
Correct.
Presented this info to them. They came back that they want these units.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember off the top of your head, but you had like the head of various departments in the hospital.
Yeah. So, on the Zoom call, one of the doctors who was on that was head of the oral division of the largest hospital in Israel, Sheba Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited the other heads of the hospital. So I had the head of rehab, the head of orthopedic surgery,
Mm-hmm.
the head of burns, him, head of nursing, all on a Zoom call at the same time. A Zoom, we had, I showed slides of how burns can be dramatically sped up in healing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. And now I've got a really nice text that
Just this morning?
Just this morning,
Okay.
about 2 hours ago. Right here. So this is from the head of the oral department. I don't know exactly the title, but it's. He says, "Dear Tom, I'm writing to express my heartfelt gratitude for your support in our nation and for your generous will to donate PBM devices to accelerate the healing of our wounded civilians and soldiers. Your compassion and commitment to making a difference in the lives of those who have sacrificed so much for our country are truly commendable. Warm regards, Noam."
Noam. So listen, if you go to SunPowerLED.com, you can learn all about light
Yes.
therapy. You can be watching videos even as we're talking here. But at the top of that page, when you go to SunPowerLED.com, there's a red banner right at the top, and it says Help Israel.
Yep.
Anybody, anywhere listening to this, you click on that, and you can donate towards getting some of these units into Israel. And we hope that you'll do that because there's a tremendous need there. Same thing, but then you're also on the webpage where you can scroll through and learn about this for yourself because there may be people with arthritis or bed sores or eczema or collagen production problems or hair. They need hair growth? This is... Wait a minute.
Neil, you're using
Wait
it
a
on your
minute.
lungs. You should be using it on your head right now.
I'm tracking with you, brother. This is interesting.
He'll need a haircut tomorrow, though, if he does that.
Wow. Fertility support. Fertility support. Pain reduction, tendinitis, wound healing, sports injuries, TMJ, xerostomia, which you said
Is where you saliva flow inside the mouth. A lot of times it's caused by chemotherapy, so you can totally get rid of that.
Without saliva, your teeth can fall out? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, you lose over the course of the next year, 2 years, you'll start losing all your teeth.
That's not good.
No.
Insomnia, neuropathy, cognitive function, injury recovery, oral mucositis, dental pain,
and the list goes on.
Yeah,
It sounds crazy, but it's just that the light can be used for so many things. Just like, what could sunlight be used for?
Yeah, right.
Everything.
Everything. So wait, real quick, and I'm going to get to these calls. What happens? The light, this near infrared gets into a cell, and then it lights the cell up and says, "Wake up." What?
No, not quite. But what
Okay.
it does do is that just like you normally eat some food and it turns into sugars, and then the sugars travel around the body and end up in each cell to create the energy that the cell needs to multiply. So in this case, what happens is when you have an injury of any kind, that blood flow and everything else is hampered. So now you got starving cells on the in the area that you're trying to heal. Just imagine what your workforce would be like if you didn't have if all your guys were not eating for the day. But this is what happens. You're actually feeding the cell, and once the cell is getting that energy, it's able to do all sorts of things, multiply, clean up, you name it, is what happens. And you don't have to have everything working right in order for that to happen. So inflammation reduction is huge because you want the healing can't begin until a certain part of the inflammation is over with.
Does it inhibit the growth of scar tissue post-surgery? I mean, that's always a big problem.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay. Yeah, it is. So people that have, let's say, surgery, it'll not only promote the healing of that area, but also reduce the possibility of scars, significantly reduce the. So in the case of one example was a girl was swinging in the tree with her friends, a teenager, and they were playing with a rope, and she ended up somehow getting her hand lassoed and lost the tip of her longest finger beside the index finger. And the surgeon said, like, once he cut the bone away and shortened the bone and put the skin back together, he says, you're going to need multiple surgeries to remove all the scar tissue. come back in 2 weeks and we'll do another surgery, basically. And she came back in 2 weeks. He says, this is beautiful. There's absolutely no scar tissue. It totally healed perfectly.
And she was receiving light therapy.
She had immediately, but she just happened to be beside my daughter. So my daughter has lights. All my kids have lights.
All right. Love it. 800-684-2848, 883-5000. Paul, welcome to NBL. We'll get to you, Cindy, next in a moment, and then on to the rest of your calls, 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. All right, Paul, you're on with Tom Kerber, and we're talking about light therapy. We're talking about getting these units into Israel. You might have a question or comment. What's up? Paul, good to have you.
Well, 2021, November, I came down with COVID, killer COVID. Got pneumonia. I'm a little nervous, and I'm short of breath because I don't have any lungs left, so you have to kind of bear with me if you could. Anyways, spent 5 months in the hospital, 7 weeks on a ventilator, 5 weeks in ICU on a ventilator, and then
Right.
They did a tracheostomy on me actually after I came out of ICU, and kept me on the ventilator for another 2 weeks until I was able to, wean myself off. Anyways, fast forward, it's 2023, 2 years later. I'm still alive by the grace of God. My wife, God bless her, she, called everybody and everybody.
To pray.
Anybody and everybody to pray for me, yeah. And I should have died. I knew I was dying. I was in that hospital. My oxygen was going over the cliff. And instinctively I knew that this was it. The jig is up, so to speak, and I'm going. I'm out of here. But when they rushed in to take me down to ICU, I told them to do anything and everything they could to keep me alive. I says, if you got to get up on the gurney and, stomp up and down on me, go ahead
Go
and do
for
it.
it.
Yeah. But I guess my heart, failed a couple of times, and I don't remember them, doing the electric shock thing because I was too far out of it, I guess. So,
Right.
In any event, the question I have is...
Yeah, I was going to ask. Go ahead.
I just turned 70, okay? And I, obviously have a lot of scar tissue in the lungs.
Right.
It doesn't take much for me. I don't drag oxygen around with me anymore, but it's still, I get winded very easily.
Right.
And it doesn't take much for me to, my oxygen to go down into the 80s. So.
Right. So,
could it make a difference?
Yes, it can make a difference because 810 nanometer can reach inside the lungs. And that was the whole part of the study, is that we could not only help people during that track, but it's also possible for your cells then to heal. You've got scar tissue in your lungs, and the light can help reduce that scar tissue after the fact. But it takes a lot more to reduce it after the fact, as far as a lot more time than it does if you do it during the healing phase. Then you don't have to get the scarring. But they need to learn about this in the hospitals as to what light can do for lungs. But yes, the light definitely can help with inside the lungs. And you're not putting anything inside your lungs. You're just putting it on the outside of your lungs. And the wavelength is easy enough to penetrate through all the skin and that. So no problem there.
Love it. Does that help, Paul? Appreciate your call.
Well, I'd like to investigate it more.
You're welcome to...
SunPowerLED, right?
Yeah, SunPowerLED.com, and you're welcome to reach out to... We have a 1-800 number. Oh, sorry, it's 1-8... I'll have to remember that number. I forgot again. But anyways, yeah.
Tom, you're the guy from the company, so you better remember it.
It's a newer 1-800 number, so...
Paul, say it again. I missed that.
Are you here in Buffalo?
I'm kind of, well, right now I'm in Buffalo. I can touch Neil. And we have roots here in Buffalo, but I'm also I live in Hamilton,
Ontario.
But by the way, I just want to say I'm not a medical doctor, and I can't give medical advice, and I don't know anything. There we go.
Yeah. But, Paul, if you would, just go to sunpowerled.com, do some investigating. Tom is very accessible, and you can have... I had a friend who was listening last time we had a conversation about this, and he called and he talked to Tom, and he called me back later, and he said, "Man, I couldn't believe it. I called and I was talking to Tom." And you're able to do that. So any questions you've got, I'm sure down the road in the near future you'll be able to get them answered. But I highly recommend it. I mean, it helped me recover from COVID in a miraculous kind of way because I was not recovering for the longest time. All right, here's the toll-free number. It's 888, 888-913-0012. 888-913-0012. It's a toll-free number. All right. Paul, I'll repeat that again in case you missed it.
Is that for the SunPowerLED?
Yeah, that's the number. Yes,
Yep.
And you can talk to my.
That's not WDCX.
Nope.
Yeah, go ahead and say that one more time.
Okay. 1-888-913-0012.
I'll repeat it, Paul.
0012.
I'll repeat it again several times in the next few minutes. All right. Thank you for your phone call.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Want to get to
Thanks so much.
Cindy.
I appreciate it. Bye now.
You're welcome. Cindy in Lockport is next on NBL. Cindy, good to have you with us.
Hi, Cindy.
Welcome. Cindy, we have her on line 2. What's going on here? Are you there, Cindy? Have you hit the mute on your phone by accident? Cindy, check the mute on your phone. This happens sometimes. People are like, oh, I didn't realize I hit mute. Okay, well, we'll come back to Cindy in a moment. I'm going to put you back on hold. Not sure where you went. Aurelia, I hope I'm saying this right.
Yes.
Aurelia, you're on
Yes.
NBL with Tom
Hi.
Kerber. Hi. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Aurelia.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. How are you? I was driving. I'm in Mississauga, actually. Canada.
Okay.
I was driving, and I always listen to your site WDCX, and I was I went with this through what do you call of this thing?
It's called photobiomodulation or red light therapy, or there's about 100 things you can call it. But
Yeah.
so
And it's really good, and I need this one because I've been diagnosed of the RA, rheumatoid arthritis.
right, and that's what it can. It can be very helpful to reducing the pain with, and some people are even able to get off the NSAIDs and stuff that are that you have to check with your doctor and that. But if you don't have to take pills, it's sometimes beneficial.
Yes, and I'm interested to get one of those one. Is there any? I heard that what's the name of the guy? Paul?
Oh, the Paul previous caller?
Yes,
Paul.
I heard that he's from Hamilton.
Oh,
No.
no.
Tom's research facility is in Hamilton. Tom is a Canadian.
Okay.
But he does work on both sides of the border and has an office here in Buffalo. He's in Buffalo right now. But yeah, he's a Canadian who actually, can provide units to people all over the world. But
yeah, and we do.
The ability to work consistently in the U.S. required him to open some type of an office here. So we call it Kerber USA, but he's actually headquartered in Hamilton, Ontario, not far from where you're at, Aurelia.
And that's Kerber. You can easily remember this, Gerber Baby Food with a K. KerberUSA.com. And I listen and I hear a little bit of age. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 65.
Okay, all right. My mom, who's listening right now, who had to put up with me when I was small, is 92 years old, and she is using the light every day.
Oh, praise God. Yeah, so good. I
Hi,
wonder where we can order this thing.
Easiest way is if you called me on our main number. I'll give you the other number. Well, you can call the 888-913-0012. And if you forget, you can always call WDCX or look on the website on WDCX, and you'll see my information there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Praise God for this. Oh my! This you are the you are the sender of my being. I was crippled for like almost 2 years, and I've been through a lot of medicine that been my specialist one, and I was actually, if I drive to work, I always be in WDCX. And this program has really helped me a lot.
Good.
Beautiful.
Really helped me a lot.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
All right.
spiritually, physically, emotionally. I praise God that you have this kind of station that we have in here. Like
Amen.
you know.
All right.
But anyways, yeah,
Thank you.
I will call this number.
Okay.
I will call this number, and
Very good.
I will order one of my things. So thank you so
Fabulous.
much. Thank
you,
very much.
Aurelia. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, again, the number is the number for Kerber USA is
That's fine. Yeah.
888-913-0012. I think Paul was asking about that earlier. 888-913-0012. But for those of you that are a little more tech savvy, you can go to Sun, S-U-N, like the sun that's in the sky, S-U-N, PowerLED.com, SunPowerLED.com, and you can learn all about it because all the information's there. And right there at the top of the page is a button you can click to help get these units into Israel. And real quick before our break, Tom, speak from your heart if you don't mind, because there are some listening that are like, well, hey, I'm in great shape. I'm fine. I don't need this right now. But I would sure love to help the Jewish people that are suffering as a result of having, received some type of injury in the war with Hamas. So quickly, tell us about your passion for that and why God led you to make that available to the people in Israel.
Yeah, I really feel about 4 or 5 years ago, it came to me that this technology is really for the healing of the nations, not just those in North America. And I didn't know how that would shape up. But, how would I ever get beyond Canada and U.S.? And what ended up happening a year ago, there was a post from a doctor, and I had over 300 emails coming in from all over the world in 48 hours after the doctor posted the email. It helped him, and it helped his wife. She had been thrown from a horse. And she 2 years earlier and had multiple bone breaks in her ankles and constantly dealing with pain. And she was able to tremendously reduce the pain that she had even 2 years after. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 years or 20 years. We've seen people helped with old injuries reduce pain.
Love it. All right, Cindy, we'll be back to you in a moment. Hopefully you're back. 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. If you want to join the conversation here, call 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. Remember, all of the links we're talking about are available at WDCX Radio on Facebook and also on the advertiser page at WDCXradio.com.
The definition of Oasis, Neil Boron, live.
Yeah, this is about as good as the Oasis gets right here, ladies and gentlemen. I've got Tom Kerber of Kerber USA in studio. He's a personal friend. He's one of the inventors of some of the units that are used by Galcom International to get solar-powered Bibles and solar-powered fixed-tune radios to people all over the world so that they can hear the gospel. Tom is like the professor on Gilligan's Island with one big difference. Tom would have got him off the island. The professor never seemed to be able to figure that out. He could fix anything. He just couldn't get him off the island. So anyway, we're going to get to Cindy in a moment, John in Toronto and stuff. But Zach, man, you've been asking me a question about light therapy. I'm going to let you ask Tom.
Well, yeah, I mean, we hear, about light therapy all the time. Of course, we run the commercials for SunPowerLED. But, Tom, I've been dealing with, in my right elbow, I think it's part tennis elbow and part just tendonitis from years of playing baseball and throwing and pitching, etc. But I cannot get rid of the pain in here. Is your product something that might be able to help with that?
Yeah, not only help, get rid of it totally.
Clear it out?
Yeah, a lot of people with carpal tunnel, any type of injury like that where nerves are being compressed, the inflammation's there. You can help get rid of the inflammation, and help speed up the healing, so that your body has a great, beautifully designed immune system. Just needs to rush in there, but you need to have the light going in.
I've gotten used to seeing you do this, Zach, but like you're always stretching and moving your arm, and like I don't even notice it anymore until I notice it, and then I'm like, oh, I guess he's still dealing with that elbow.
We got to get you in here and start treating. Neil, you got to give up the light so that
I'm finishing my treatment right here on my lungs. This is what I'm doing. All right, I'll be done in like at the top of the hour. How about that? I'll be done. All right, so you've dealt with people with arthritis. We had a call about that earlier. A tendonitis, even skin things like eczema.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it really helps. In some cases, totally eliminate that the clean it right up. Okay. So, so these things that we're talking about, I've been able to hear of directly from people, not through somebody else, but all these things, dental pain, like we're just talking about it, the possibility of somebody having, somebody bought a unit through my landlord, and we were at the table together. They invited me in, and she said, "Would it help my tooth pain?" And my landlord says, yeah, right. Come on. Like, how's that going to make a difference? I says, no, it will. So she put the light on her cheek, and about 8 minutes, all of a sudden she says, I got no pain in my my mouth. The pain was gone. And my landlord says, Judy, you don't have to say that. And she says, no, the pain's gone.
No kidding. So it probably, some of you are like, it sounds like there's a fan running in the studio. Well, there is. I'm going to shut my mic off for a second. First of all, you can hear it.
Oh, that was the background
Yeah, you
sound.
can hear it. I shut my mic off, but that's because this thing is 2 inches away from the microphone. I've got it on my chest right now because I've had some bronchitis and sinusitis kind of stuff going on. I'm going to turn this over to Zach in a minute so he can do his elbow for the rest of the show. But Cindy in Lockport, are you there, Cindy? We tried to get to you before. Don't know if you're back or where you went. All right, Cindy. Not sure what her question was, not sure where she's at, but we tried twice.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, John in Toronto, we're going to you. Welcome to NBL, John. You're on with Tom Kerber.
Hi, John.
Yes, Tom. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. I got one of your units. I've been trying to get a hold of you to get some instructions.
Okay, no problem.
Your unit have 2 circles, right? It has a bright
and a dim setting.
And it has the lower
near infrared.
Set.
Yep. Yeah.
Near infrared. And now, when do you use the near infrared and when do you use the far infrared?
All right, this is an excellent question. So the red that you're seeing is very, very beneficial for the blood. So we know that the blood can travel all over the place from the area. So one challenge with red is the red wavelength won't penetrate as deep. So if you're trying to treat your shoulder, let's say with the red, it won't reach the depth of the shoulder joint, or it may get a part way there, but it will stimulate the blood in that area. So that's beautiful because the blood will get there. But the near infrared, which is the dim setting, it's not less power. It's just as much power, but it actually penetrates much, much deeper, and so can easily reach the joint.
And the issue is, hang on, John, the issue is you can't see that wavelength. That's why it
depends whether it's 810. If it's the 810 unit, you actually, one of our ultimate units.
I have the large unit.
The Super Palm or the Ultimate? Do you know?
The Ultimate.
The Ultimate. Okay, so the Ultimate has the 810 nanometer, and the 810 is the one that looks dim. It doesn't look very bright. And
but it's equally as powerful.
It's equally as powerful.
Deeper.
Yes, thank you. Yes, correct. And what were you trying to use it for, John?
Well, first of all, I use it for any form of pain that I suffer.
Right.
And for the 20, I use it on the 20-minute cycle.
Right.
And after 20 minutes, you see the effect about 10 minutes after you finish using it.
Isn't that beautiful? Is this for arthritis, or what kind of problem are you using it for?
Well, I think it's just maybe arthritic pain.
Okay, but some kind of swelling in your elbow or in your...
No, well, I use it on the shoulder.
Shoulder.
I do a lot of weight training, and sometimes the shoulder gets sore.
Yeah.
And I use it there, and it is very effective. My only concern was the red cycle Does that affect the eyes?
As a matter of fact, yes, it does. It helps the eyes. So unlike lasers, and people, this is very good you brought that up, is that lasers, laser equipment, and that has been around the longest. And so people had to use special glasses so that they wouldn't burn their retina. Well, that's because there's a spot of light that's very, very small but very intense. And so that can go across the room and damage somebody's eyes on the other side of the room. When it comes to LED technology, LEDs are diffused light. So the light very quickly spreads out. And so you do not have any hot spots on your eye. And basically it'd be like how many people, you don't see signs up on the, in Florida on the beaches saying, warning, you'll be blind if you sunbathe for an hour. It's because when you close your eyelids, it diffuses the light in all directions, just like our LEDs do. And so that's why it's not unsafe to be out on the beach, and neither is it unsafe to use our light. As a matter of fact, certain wavelengths are being used for the eye, for certain eye conditions and stuff that's been approved in Europe, but not here in North America yet.
All right.
So thank you, John, for joining us.
Yeah, John, thank you.
And one quick question before you go. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Hurry up.
Yeah, one quick question. Psoriasis. Can you use it for psoriasis?
Yes, you can. That's another area you can use it for. Yes, psoriasis, eczema, and different kinds of skin conditions. Yes, you can. Okay, and I tell you what, if you want answer more questions, you can always give us a call or email us at info@SunPowerLED. That's info, INFO, @SunPowerLED.com, and we'll be glad to try and answer any further questions. Thank you, John, for calling.
Yeah, John, appreciate it. And we're going to get to Mark in a moment. Again, it's Sun, S-U-N, SunPowerLED.com, and the toll-free number if you want to call, to reach the Tom at SunPower, go to 888-913-0012. 888-913-0012.
And please, I just if I'm not available, please talk to Jennifer or Janine or Paul. They all understand this technology very, very well, and they can take your questions.
All right, and if you want to help donate units to Israel, click on click on the Help Israel button at sunpowerled.com. And you can help get some units into Israel to help with wound care as a result of wounds being suffered during the war with Hamas. Or we'll be back in a moment, 800-684-2848 or 883-5000 if you want to join us, 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. Mark is next. We'll take a look at our weather forecast here coming up in just a moment, right after this from Kerber, USA.
NBL is Neil Boron Live. Oh, yeah.
If you're just joining us, welcome to NBL. My name's Neil, of course. Zach Mann over there on the other side of the glass. Tom Kerber of Kerber USA is with us, and we're talking about light therapy. It's taking certain wavelengths on the electromagnetic spectrum.
Good, you got that.
Yeah, I'm an expert now, and using those very similar to a woman singing a particular note, and you watch the champagne glass break, using just the right wavelength of light to be able to reduce pain and swelling and promote healing in the human body. We're going to get to Mark from Scarborough, Helen from Sanborn, the rest of your calls, but you're corresponding with somebody in Taiwan right now.
Yeah,
and this is an Olympic athlete that you help treat.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
who you've had regular contact with, and she's how old?
She's 70 years old, and she'll be doing, this is, I think, her 5th Olympian.
What does a 70-year-old do in the Olympics?
Well, she was doing luge for all her other ones, and she found she couldn't do the luge anymore because of her age, and she was more worried. So she took up archery, and because it uses the same muscles as the luge, and she won golds in the luge. And now she's winning golds in archery. And that's crazy. At 70 years old, she's pulling a bow at over 40 pounds of pressure, 200 times a day in her practice 40 pounds. She's pulling that bow
So
and
what
shooting.
did you help her with? She was struggling
shooting-
with what?
So she had COVID, she also had pneumonia and really bad brain fog, which and all the other symptoms that come along with COVID. And in West Virginia, she ended up getting treated with PBM, not necessarily MyLight. Eventually, she did, but she was able to recover from COVID and get back into getting all the pre-trials that they had to do for the Olympics. And so she just texted me. I thought I'd send her, hey, you want to try and get on to WDCX Live? I forget where you are, but I think it's in the morning. Early morning, if you happen to be awake, you could text me. And she did. And oh, sorry, I just got a correction from one of the other persons that's watching, Scott Faulkner. He says, no, it's the 7th Olympic time she's been in. And she used my light now because of she had injured herself a little bit on her shoulder. And she just won another gold just recently. Wow. She's competing against a whole pile of young people. And so she's using light at 70 years old to be
And
able
she's awake at 4:15 in the morning.
Yeah, 4:15.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's already tomorrow there, right?
Yeah, and she's competing. She says, I'm competing today. Okay, Anne, we will pray for you. If you happen to be able to be listening now, we'll be praying for you.
All right. So in addition to sports injuries, this helps with things like arthritis, healing after surgeries, pain reduction, eczema, psoriasis, fertility support.
Oh, that's a funny one.
TMJ, neuropathy, dental pain, cognitive function, bed sores, et cetera, et cetera. All right, I want to get to Mark in Scarborough. Running out of time here. Mark, welcome to NBL. It's good to have you with us. What is going on? You got a question or a comment?
I got a few questions, so I'm probably going to end up emailing. Thank you for the email. I just kind of tuned in. I have a torn rotator cuff that I first injured when the kids were much younger and they were in 5-pitch, and I was practicing with them and I was pitching and I tore something, and it's never been the same. And I re-injured it this past summer, so it's gotten a lot worse. So I'm wondering, is this something that's good for that?
Absolutely. And I say that because I know quite a number of people that have had rotator cuff injuries, torn being one of them, and how that can help turn away the pain. I think it's Long Island, New York. One of the dentists had a torn rotator cuff, and he could not believe how fast it was, his recovery. And not only that, but also the pain that you may experience, you can see that pain disappear. It may reappear, and you're going to have to continue to treat until that is fully healed. But it works that way. So it's very good for even older injuries. I've had people that have 20 years old injury and seeing that improve. So, it definitely can help with that. No doubt in my mind.
You had another question?
Yeah, what's the difference between this unit and the units like the infrared units that they have at the physio clinics up here?
Okay, so a lot of clinics will use laser, and that's because laser has been around the longest. And you can pay in a clinic may pay anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 on laser equipment, and it doesn't even have. Now my LED units can actually put out more optical power than some of those lasers that are $10,000 to $30,000 at a price tag of somewhere between just under $1,000 up to $1,900. But I actually put out more optical power. And we've done studies at University of Buffalo, and we hope to be able to publish something more recently. But I know you're not steak, but we've stacked 3 stakes on top of each other, 3/4-inch stakes, and measured the light properties between lasers and LEDs. And we're able to see that the LEDs are performing extremely well. As a matter of fact, a little better than these expensive lasers. So.
Love it. Wow.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Mark, thank you for your call. And please call me.
Wait, I think he's got one last question.
Oh, go ahead.
One quick question.
Yeah.
My daughter's had 4 concussions, and she gets migraines still.
Okay, you're in Mississauga?
Scarborough.
Scarborough. Okay. The far side of Toronto, as we call it. Yeah, you should come down. You should come down to our facility where we have a helmet that basically has 10 of the palm lights equally distributed over the whole brain. And I'm working with a top neuro scientist at University of Boston, and she's got over 30 years of research on light on the brain and how it can impact the brain, especially for DBI, multiple brain, traumatic brain injuries and things like that. And she's now. I just talked to her this morning. She's ordering another 2 more lights because she's pretty excited about what she's seeing.
Mark, remember in the movies, a woman would go to get her hair done, and she'd sit down, and they put that big dryer over her head. That's what it looks like.
Only it looks more like Star Trek, though. It's got more flair to it.
Absolutely, a little more trendy. All right, thank you, Mark.
More like a bowl.
Yeah,
I'll email you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, email us, Mark.
info@sunpowerled.com. info@sunpowerled.com. And Sun, remember, is SUN.
Yep.
And if you want to call, it's talk to Tom off air, or you've got more questions, you can talk to Tom or any member of his staff. 888-913-0012. 888-913-0012. Our number here is 800-684-2848 or 883-5000. Remember that you may not have any particular need, but are willing to help assist getting these into the hands of doctors in Israel who are treating people, civilians and soldiers wounded in the war with Hamas. And that button you can click on is right at the top of their webpage. Go to SunPowerLED.com, and at the top it says Help Israel. It's in a red banner. Click on it. It'll take you directly to where you can give. All of those links are also on our Facebook page here at WDCX Radio. So you can go to WDCX Radio on Facebook, get to that page, then scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see all the links.
And please
that we're talking
share
about.
and like whatever you have to do.
Absolutely. Send this to your friends. Ask everybody to make it go viral. We want everyone who can to help get these units to Israel and also to get the word out, because there may be people who can benefit because they're suffering with migraines or arthritis or tendonitis or other issues. Helen in Sanborn, I believe. Welcome to NBL. Our number is 800-684-2848 or 883-5000.
Hi,
Helen, go ahead. You got a question?
Yes. I was wondering, does this light help for macular degeneration?
As a matter of fact, the researcher that I was telling you just a moment ago with the brain
at Boston University.
She has the early signs of that, and she's starting to try something on her own, some research. But there is units in Europe, but they've not approved it for North America. So, but if you want to give me a call directly, we'll connect and we'll see what we can do. But it is a special wavelength of light that also can help in that, and there's research behind it. So if you'd like to just email us or call us, and we'll try and connect the dots.
Yeah.
Then I was wondering, how much is a unit?
Anywhere from between just under $1,000, $975, to $1,900. And as a matter of fact, with WDCX listeners, if you put in the promo code, if you put CHRIS for Christmas, CHRIS 10, you get a 10% discount, and this is going out to our WDCX listeners.
It's the first time you're mentioning this. Wow, all right.
I remembered.
See, you need a treatment. Get him the light therapy wand right now.
Is there a telephone number? If this number that you've been giving out is Canadian, right?
It doesn't matter whether you're U.S. or Canadian. And that's and it's a toll-free number. So.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right, Helen, thank you. Yeah, so when you're ordering one of these units, put in the promo code CHRIS, short for Christmas, CHRIS, and then the number 10, CHRIS 10, and you get a 10% discount.
That's 10.
10. Yep.
Chris 10.
Chris 10 in the promo code. All right, and you're going to want to do that at SunPowerLED.com. SunPowerLED.com. You can email Tom, info@SunPowerLED.com. And we'll be back with more of NBL in just a moment to continue the conversation with Tom Kerber of Kerber USA.
Life is filled with peaks and valleys. NBL 2 to 6 p.m. on WDCX, my friends, is what we call a peak.
All right, we're in hyperspeed right now. We're going to move quickly here. Ricky in Brampton, Sally from Rochester. That may be all the time we have for phone calls. We're talking to Tom Kerber of Kerber USA. Ricky, you've got a question?
Yeah, hey, how are you, Neil?
Very good. Welcome.
How are you,
What's up?
Tom?
Great.
Thanks,
Rick, for calling.
No problem. I have a question because I was just on your website and I was looking at the devices, and I saw that you have a light therapy device, but it's the larger model, the larger unit. I just couldn't see any pricing on that one.
Oh,
it's the one with multiple LEDs.
Yeah, you're talking about the mini canopy that's about the size of a 12 inches by 12 inches.
Correct.
Yeah, so I because we have different models of that version, I'd rather speak to you directly on that. But prices are so let's just talk directly on that one, and it has 15 times the area of the smaller palm light, and 15 times the power.
And that's for treating the entire chest.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, that's what we want to send to Israel, because they can do a large area of the leg, or burns to the back, or burns anywhere on the face. They can do. They don't
all
have
of it at once.
All at once.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ricky, you've got the toll-free number, right? 888-913-0012. That's the number you'll want to call.
Correct.
All right. One more thing, quick.
Yeah, one more question. And I just wanted to know, I remember looking into it, and I was reading about how the red light therapy is also good for ATP and the mitochondria in the cell.
Exactly.
I didn't really get too far into it, but does it also help as an antioxidant?
So what it helps do is you're giving it like super high octane fuel, so your car can run really nicely, and that's what you're doing with the light. So it helps the immune system, helps all these different processes upregulate, downregulate in certain cases, upregulate in other cases. It just does a lot of beautiful things, and that's the only way I can quickly point it out. But yes, and please do call us, and I'll try and answer further your questions.
All right, and Ricky, I'm sorry, I think I hung up on you by accident, but with the 40-second delay, he's got 40 seconds to get back to the radio, and he'll hear the end of your
great
comment there. So, Ricky, thanks for your call. Sally, last call we got time for.
Hi, Sally.
We're moving quick. Go ahead. You've got a question for Tom?
Hi. Yes. A relative who had a quarter of his pancreas taken out, they said it was precancerous and is diabetic, and maybe also has liver problems. Any of this therapy would be useful to revive the pancreas or the liver?
Yeah, so anytime there's, especially with the surgery, anytime there's healing that's needed, definitely it can help. And the light can penetrate quite deeply, and the larger units are usually better for that, because the large area actually helps a little bit with depth. But yes, gets a little more complicated when it's inner organs as far as how far light can travel, but definitely could be quite helpful.
Does it revive the cells? Does it?
So it just helps all. It just gives a pile of energy to the cells that they know how to do. When we get a cut on our finger, we don't tell our finger, this is how you're going to heal.
It knows what to do.
It knows what to do. And when you put the light on it, it just even knows how to do it even faster, because it's got all the resources to do it. Yeah.
All right. So there are folks listening who are going to want information. We definitely want you to go to SunPowerLED.com, spelled S-U-N, like the sun in the sky, SunPowerLED.com. If you forget all of this, we have an advertiser page on our website, WDCXradio.com, and Kerber USA is listed there. You can find it and get to it that way. But you want to go to SunPowerLED.com. If you have an email question, it's info@SunPowerLED.com. If you want to call 800-913-0012. But, Tom, there's people who are going to want this kind of technology for use for themselves, for injuries that they have, or maybe a mom or dad or a son or daughter. Somebody needs this technology, and you can talk to them about that. For those who just say, I don't necessarily need it right now, but I want to help the people of Israel that are suffering. These are soldiers who've been wounded in the war, or other citizens who were wounded during, when they were taken hostage or whatever, to help make sure that legs and arms don't have to be amputated, and healing can occur, and especially recovery from burns and those kind of things.
And kids,
children. So you've got on your website, SunPowerLED.com, right there at the top of the page is a red banner across the top. Don't miss it. It's right at the top, and it says Help Israel. You click on that, and you can donate?
Yes, and you can donate different ways, either by sending directly one of the smaller units or contributing to one of the larger mini canopy that I was talking about, which is 12 inches by 12 inches. And, in the meantime, too, pray. Pray for Israel. Pray for how you might be able to make a difference. And please visit our website, and we've got a lot of interest over there. And this is with the largest hospital in Israel being able to use this technology. So that's where all the worst-case scenarios go to this hospital, Sheba Hospital.
Amen. Well, Tom, thanks for being here. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime. And Lord, use this for your glory. I thank you that Tom is a follower of you, and he desires that the very light you created would be used to help heal human bodies here in Canada, in Israel, and all over the world. We love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name,
Amen.